And we've got Fran coming from Rochdale Council. And we're just going to ask Fran today just to present the slides that he went through at the Nature Recovery Local Authority Toolkit Roadshow events that we held back in March. So, hi Fran, how you doing?
I'm okay, Krista. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. So what I'm
Good.
going to do now is I'm going to share your slides and then I'll hand over to you, Fran. So hold on a second. And I'm just going to put these on full view. On. There we go. Right, that should be us. Actually, there's yourself and there's the slides. So I'm going to hand over to you, Fran. Far away.
Okay, thanks very much, Krista. And if you could move the slide along to the next slide. So yeah, Rochdale Council's approach to local nature recovery. Well, we have a number of headline objectives, one of which is to identify opportunities to deliver the biodiversity duty across the council's operation and assets. We see local nature recovery as part of a strategic jigsaw where nature recovery, it's a key element or building block in how we deliver positive change. So that's positioning nature recovery in the context of greener, resilient growth, managing climate risks, and better placemaking with community benefits for health and well-being. So within all of this, it's going beyond the council's operations and assets to how we deliver services across the community and how we work with those communities and the elements of it, businesses, residents, and others. It informs how and where we can deliver biodiversity net gain, nature recovery more widely, how we connect nature with wider plans, strategies, and investments, whether that be spatial planning or investment or other aspects of the council's business around health and well-being and placemaking and community resilience and engagement. We identify how partners work with us and stakeholders work with us, from landowners to government agencies and all points in between. And of course, it will support the delivery of the Greater Manchester Local Nature Recovery Strategy, which is clearly an important strategic document which is in preparation and something which we'll be putting at the centre of our approach to nature recovery. Next slide, please, Krista. So governance. Well, we have political leadership, which comes largely under the climate portfolio. And the climate agenda has an increasingly pivotal role within council business. It does provide political leadership, which does stem from the council leader, but more specifically through the cabinet member for climate. But this also allows us to create more linkages with other services who are embedded within the climate agenda, whether that be planning, the lead local flood authority, environment and property management, and a whole range of other services. The scrutiny committee has a task group on climate, a specific task group, and that allows us to get quite close to members and have a much more detailed session on aspects of that agenda, and therefore to get really engaged with members around nature recovery on a one-to-one is something we can really do, and that's a real benefit of the climate sort of task group and the leadership from within the climate portfolio. At a service level, planning takes the lead. I'm based within planning. I'm the strategic planning manager for the council, and that covers a whole range of things from the lead local flood authority through our local plan, environmental programs around flooding and around woodland, and also some links to corporate strategy. Whether that be the council's own land and estates, or how we run buildings, or how we provide services which are climate resilient and involve nature recovery as part and parcel of that through our estate management, or how we can educate, inform and facilitate. And there's also asset management and delivery services within the council. Increasingly, these are important to nature recovery. We have our environmental management teams, which look after parks in the countryside, work with landowners in the countryside. We have our housing service, which very importantly is there to provide that quality place. and create the opportunity for people to experience nature on the doorstep, and building into that more resilience through things like SUDs, sustainable urban drainage, where biodiversity is an important part of how we deliver that, and property services, which is our general land holding, which we either own land that we manage and use ourselves, or we tenant to others, whether it be allotments or other types of facility that we can actually, again, influence and work with tenants to actually provide better nature in the local community. Thanks, Krista. So the strategic context, well, again, we've got spatial planning, which is quite key there. We have places for everyone in Greater Manchester, which has a whole raft of policies that support nature recovery, but also growth and regeneration. Increasingly, if you looked at nature conservation or nature recovery as a specific element a few years ago, it probably would have been seen as something which wasn't necessarily core to the growth and regeneration agenda. But now, increasingly, we've got an agenda that understands that nature is part of a multifunctional suite of benefits that allows us to actually create resilient growth and resilient regeneration. Again, taking that climate theme, so where nature is a key part of that. And things such as biodiversity net gain quite clearly embed that very, very strongly in the planning system. Flood risk management, again, a move towards more nature-based solutions, how we integrate things like tree and woodland planting into a context beyond providing amenity and biodiversity, but into how we actually help to manage the flow of water within and around our communities. That broader climate resilience, our climate strategy, our climate emergency, and how we actually respond to that and deliver actions which help us to deliver positive change. Green infrastructure planning, where we're actually looking at how we can bring together all these integrated benefits, and similarly taking that a step further, integrated water management, a developing concept at a Greater Manchester scale, where we're looking at how all the different benefits and opportunities from how we manage water, from rivers to surface water to grey water, can provide benefits for a whole range of different things. And our estate management, how we actually manage our own assets, as I've previously said, in a better way, which allows us to actually benefit from the natural qualities of that land. Next, please, Krista. Excuse me. So our process for the local nature recovery action plan is to look at mirroring to a large extent the timetable for the Greater Manchester strategy for local nature recovery. So we're looking to publish a document. It'll be a first iteration in the summer or autumn of this year, 2024. And much like green infrastructure, the document's going to contain a few larger projects, but many smaller actions. These could be at a very, very micro community scale, all the way through to small woodland schemes and other measures, which cumulatively add a whole range of values across the piece, whether that be for flood resilience, whether it be for biodiversity and whatever. But it's that integration, it's that multiple benefit, and a few bigger schemes. Again, these may come through development, they may come through other landscape scale or larger area-based initiatives. So this will support, obviously, the Greater Manchester strategy delivery. It will be Rochdale's demonstration of what it can do and will do, and what it will monitor in terms of how it will deliver that strategy and the change that it wants to achieve. It'll also help us to monitor delivery of our biodiversity duty, our statutory biodiversity duty. Again, this is where the opportunities to embed nature recovery in all of the council's business is there, and we're currently going through a scoping exercise to look at each service as to what they can do in terms of how they deliver it within the service area and their day-to-day business, how they interact with clients, how they can facilitate and advocate in working with others. It's looking across the whole range of things as to how we can deliver that duty. It'll provide evidence to support how we plan, whether that's through spatial planning or whether it's economic and project planning. It allows us to support where we can facilitate biodiversity net gain in the borough. It allows us to influence and make better management plans, and also to bring investment in. It will help us to provide the evidence to support funding bids, not necessarily just for nature conservation ones, but adding that actual nature